introduce to you the all-new texture set. This is a new set which is totally free. Like, you don't have to pay a penny for it. All you need to do is download it. Feel free, like literally feel free to download it from the link in the description box down below, because these are what we're going to be using for textures a lot in our tutorials. I made these brushes in the Procreate brush panel. Okay, no necessary photos taken or anything, but simply made with Procreate itself. So if you want to make your own textured brushes, you can do that. But if you're too lazy to make your own textured brushes, you can download the texture set. And in this video, we're going to be trying out every single texture. So in this, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 different brushes made for textures. So like you saw in all my videos, we add a lot of texture to artwork to make it look better. So I'm going to be giving you a demo of each and every one of these texture brushes today. So let's get into it. But every tutorial, when I use this, I will always be giving you an alternative, which is usually going to be in the sketching panel, and usually the 6B pencil, which would be a good alternative for any brush in the texture set. But you know what's special about the brushes in the texture set? What is special about the brushes in the texture set is that they are large brushes, so you can basically do texture easily without having to do lines and lines and lines, because the brush is too small for you. These are big brushes. If you see, I use the charcoal pencil, big enough to give some texture. Right now I'm not using the Apple Pencil, so it will probably be really bad because my Apple Pencil just got disconnected. I'm disconnected right now. But last night I was to talk about the benefit of this texture set. So what are the benefits of downloading the texture set? It's a really good preset. And it's easier to do texture, as I said, because the brushes are larger than other brushes that you would normally use for texture, which is given for free by Procreate. And another benefit is that it's got a lot of variety, and it's made specially for textures. If you see others, like the sketching panel, is made specially for sketching, but this is made specially for texture. So there will be mostly brushes that you're going to be using for textures in this panel. Now I've got my Apple Pencil all connected. I'm going to go to the biggest size, and you see, if you lightly scrape, you see this wonderful texture. So we're going to start with the wet paper texture. This is also going to be a less used brush, but it's there because, options. As you can see, the brushes look wonderfully and is textured and has got some texture in it. The texture green brush is similar to the wet paper texture, I feel, but not that similar. Well, it's similar, but not that much. Then I've got the texture type section. I've got texture type 1, texture type 2, texture type 3, texture type 4, and texture type 5. There are 5 different texture types. And these are basically, I made them. I don't know why I named only 5 of these brushes texture type. It would just be weird to name all of them texture types. So, yeah, and for these specific brushes, I just couldn't find any names, so I call them texture type. And this is texture type 3 we're currently trying out. So, depending on what you're texturing, you can decrease and increase the brush size. But if you're going to go with a brush from the sketching panel, this is its maximum size. So basically you can do the soft pastel, which is big, all pastel, which is big, and the artist crayon, which is big. But they aren't texture brushes, and everything else, okay, ignore the color mix, I made that one. And yeah, everything else is largest size is so tiny. And the biggest brush in all of these, except for the soft pastel, all pastel, and artist crayon, the biggest size is this, and that is not good for texturing stuff. That is big, of course. So that's why I like to go So if I were you, then I would go ahead and download the texture set from the link in the description box down below. Yeah. So I showed you all the texture type brushes, I think. And now I'll show you the charcoal texture. This is a really nice brush. It gives you this wonderful charcoal feel. It's like the large charcoal pencil that I showed you guys earlier. So yeah, it's like that. But now I decided to make my own set that will be available online, so that you don't have to make the brushes yourself. Because I've understood by watching some of my videos that the camera setup isn't good at all, so you won't be able to like get the brushes, like make them properly. So now the charcoal pencil. Oh wait, I'm giving away all my secrets. Okay, the charcoal pencil is like the charcoal texture, but the charcoal texture falls off a little bit. Sorry, the charcoal pencil falls off a little bit. Actually, I don't know. They're pretty much very similar brushes, but they have the slightest difference. So if I said in a video, you can use a charcoal texture brush, it doesn't matter. You can actually use a charcoal pencil instead. It doesn't matter. Now for the concrete texture. This is a special brush that is going to be used a little less in my tutorials, not the most, but it will be used once in a while. It gives you this wonderful concrete texture. So that's why it's called concrete texture. So thank you for watching, and make sure to go into the description box and click the link to download the texture set, as you can see. Oh, and yeah, download the texture set from the link in the description box down below if you're interested.